All right, hello, and welcome to Daily Space for today, Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. I am your host, Annie Wilson. Most Mondays through Fridays, our team will be here putting science into your brain. Usually Wednesdays are for Rocket Roundup, and we had 3 launches this past week. Let's get to it, shall we? As soon as my mouse cooperates. We need to work on that. All right, so first up. Oh, thank you for the host. Yeah, we'll do that. So first up, Iran launched their first military satellite on April 22nd at 3:59 a.m. UTC. Nor-1 was launched into orbit by Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps on the first flight of a Qased rocket. My apologies for pronunciations. Before I get into the details of this launch, I'd like to take a moment to remind you that we don't discuss politics in depth. I'm going to state a few facts about the political climate and then move on from it. Iranian launches are fairly rare, with only a handful occurring each year. Due to current sanctions by the United States, the U.S. State Department condemns these launches and essentially states that Iran is furthering development on their ballistic missile program under the guise of peaceful aerospace applications. With that out of the way, on to the good stuff. Because this was a military mission from Iran, not a lot of details are known about the satellite or the launcher. Here's what we do know. Nor-1 is a 6-unit CubeSat that probably weighs between 6 and 10 kilograms. It was built entirely in Iran, of Iranian components, and is in low Earth orbit. The launcher is thought to be a modified missile which uses both liquid and solid fuel and was launched from a transporter erector launcher, a specialized vehicle used for transporting and launching missiles. So, I don't know if you'll see the TEL in the video, but it is literally a truck that has a missile on top. So that's the transporter part. And then it will put the missile from horizontal to vertical, that's the erector part, and then it'll launch from the vehicle, that's the launcher part. This vehicle could not get any more self-explanatory. So here's the launch video, which doesn't want to play. And it's kind of obscured. There you can kind of see the TEL. All right, so there you go. There are other videos of this launch, and the other videos will show like more of the command center. They'll have people talking, etc. This is the most neutral video that I could find. And yeah, there kind of was a little wobble in the engine right as the engines ignited. And I imagine that the first stage is solid simply because there weren't a whole bunch of umbilicals. And the liquid, because there weren't umbilicals, I imagine the liquid is the really stable stuff, whose name is escaping me at the moment. And it is a the satellite is very, very small. Remember, 6 to 10 kilograms. If you're an American, that's 3 to 5 2-liter soda bottles. These are not these are not very big. So Veronica points out before launch it looked like there was a cord going along the side, so that may have been for the thing. And DPI points out the fuel that I'm thinking about is UDMH and DNTO. So yeah, and no. The vehicle, the transporter, erector, launcher, or TEL is not destroyed during launching, and it can be used to launch many, many missiles and or rockets, because this is not the first time we've seen a rocket launched from a TEL. So, all right, with that one out of the way, let's move on. Next up, Starlink. Next up, SpaceX launched another 60 Starlink satellites on April 22nd at 7:30 p.m. UTC on board a Falcon 9 rocket that took off from LC-39 Alpha at Kennedy Space Center. This was the 7th Starlink launch, which brings the number of operational and healthy Starlinks up to about 396 out of the total 420 satellites launched. The launch was the 4th flight of Core Bravo 1051. The first stage and both fairing halves were successfully recovered. The first stage and both fairing halves were successfully recovered, and we have launch video! So, reminder, rocket launches are loud.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Falcon 9 switching down range.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
And, of course, we have video of the landing.
Stage 1, landing leg deploy.
Stage 2 FTS is safe.
There it is. Let's see. We have cheers. We have a rocket. Awesome. This is the 4th landing for this booster. And as you can hear, everybody here is super stoked to see it there. It's great. It's a gorgeous day. Gorgeous rocket.
And finally, Roscosmos launched the Progress MS-14 resupply mission on April 25th at 1:51 a.m. UTC from Baikonur. And this is a screen capture from the stream. So Progress MS-14 reached the space station after a quick flight of only 3 hours and 20 minutes, just 2 orbits of the ISS. The craft docked automatically at the aft port of the Zvezda service module, part of the ISS's Russian segment. On board was 2.5 tons of cargo, which consisted of food, water, oxygen, fuel, and equipment. Among the cargo delivered were fresh oranges and grapefruit for the crew. And yeah, we got launch video.
Работают нормально. 25. 30. Параметры конструкции ракеты-носителя в норме.
Ta-da! And to wrap things up, here is a running tally. I'm sorry. To wrap things up, here's a running tally of a few spaceflight statistics for the current year. So far, we've burned up 2 toilets in orbit. There are 405 new satellites in orbit. That includes those launched from other in-orbit craft like the ISS. Directly from launches, we have launched 391 satellites. There have been a total of 30 launch attempts this year, including 4 failures. I keep track of orbital launches by where they launched from, otherwise known as spaceport. Here's that breakdown. USA, 10, China, 8, Kazakhstan, 4, French Guiana, 2, Russia, 2, Iran, 2, New Zealand, 1, and Japan, 1. And your useless space fact from the week comes to us from Dr. Patrick Durrell, who reminds us that Mars is the only planet populated entirely by robots. And now I will take a second to give you to type in questions. Please use the purple star while you do that. I'm going to say the more words I need to say. So thank you all for listening. Today's script was written by myself and edited by Gordon Dewis. The Daily Space is produced by Susie Murph. Our fearless leader is Dr. Pamela Gay. This has been a production of the Planetary Science Institute, a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to exploring our solar system and beyond. During plague times, do not worry about supporting us. We're going to make it through. But we are here thanks to the generous contributions of people like you. If you want to become a supporter of the show, check us out at patreon.com/CosmoQuestX. And now I'm going to scroll through the chat as soon as I get everything working. And, yeah. My dogs are like, where's the treats, Mom? All right, so scrolling up, scrolling up, scrolling up. Okay. No, Raj, I have not seen Elon Musk tweets today. I have not been on Twitter yet. Wednesdays are generally me rolling out of bed, taking care of the dogs, getting ready to stream, and then streaming. So I don't, I haven't even looked at Twitter yet. What's with the pew pew on the patch? Oh, Broken Symmetry is talking about the logo I used for the Iranian launch. That is the logo for, the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps. So rather than, because the rocket was launched by Iran, by Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, I decided to use their logo instead of the Iranian space program's logo. Yeah, that's what their logo looks like. I know, but yeah. Do. And let's see, we already talked about the TEL. And yeah, it is the Iran launched a very small satellite, which means it didn't need a whole lot of get up and go. So there is that. And yeah, Starlink is slowly becoming huge. So slowly. The next Kerbal says the next Starlink will be another 0.5. I'm not sure what he means by another 0.5. 0.5 what? And yes, Star Strider, the camera angle on the Russian launches is super cool. And I think Baikonur has been used as a as like a thing called a monument in the game called Rust, which I have a love-hate relationship with that game. I have a love-hate relationship with that game. But Monument is just, this is where you can get a lot of stuff. It's big, you can explore, and I think there's radiation. So yeah, it has been used in video games. Larry says China at number 2 is surprising. Not really. They did launch a whole bunch of stuff earlier this year. They're taking a pause because they did have 2 or 3 failures. And I think it's 2 because we've had 4. I don't know. Maybe it is 3. I've already forgotten. Anyways, China has had a number of failures in a row, so they're taking some time and checking that out among dealing with COVID and social distancing and everything else. And I think they're getting ready to launch the first flight of a new rocket. And they want that to go off well without any failures. So Larry asks, is Russia working on a reusable? I don't know. I really don't know. I've mostly just been keeping track with the rockets that are currently in use because there's so much about rockets. There's a lot, and it's easy to keep track of like SpaceX and Rocket Lab, etc. because one, those companies use English as a major language to communicate, and hey, I'm fluent in English. I cannot read Russian. I cannot read Chinese. And I have to use translators, and translators aren't perfect, and I have to slog through trying to find reliable news sources because I'm not familiar with them. So I am not the person to ask about non-English speaking future rocket programs because it's a lot. B, there's a language barrier. I would like to know more, but I only have so many hours in the day, and I can only stand staring at translated text for so long. So, let's see. Scroll down. Veronica asked, did they have to wait to send a resupply until astronauts came back? I don't think so. I don't think so. They're usually sent up, or they're usually scheduled way in advance. So, and there may have been 2 different launch pads used. I'm not sure. I'm actually going to have to look into that, Veronica. You may have to remind me on Discord, because I will probably immediately forget. So Keeper says, 100 bits for the floof. Bombadil asks, can we see the SpaceX satellite release again? Also, it was a cinematic shot. Unfortunately, I didn't have video queued up for that, so we kind of missed it. My apologies, but DPI poked at the Iranian rocket and says that the missiles either nitrogen tetroxide or something called AK-27, a mix of IRFNA and 20% nitrogen tetroxide. So liquid first stage, solid second stage, and unknown third stage. Wow, I was expecting first stage to be solid. All right, we got bits for floofers. Can you get up? Come on, up. There you go. He's like, yeah, I'll take some Cheerios. Scroll down. Do they not use a sound suppression system at Baikonur? They do. They have that trench, and it does deflect things, and you saw the flames coming out of it. At least I thought so. DPI is coming in with a correction saying no, which is probably good since it can get freezing cold up there. Kerbal says it was the 5th flight of a booster. Everything I had read that said it was the fourth Kerbal, and I checked space. These are the sources I checked. I checked the subreddit for SpaceX, where they keep meticulous track of the boosters, and the Wikipedia article for SpaceX boosters also pulls from that. And there was another source I used called Elon X that I think I checked for the fairings and also keeps track of the boosters. So, in Kazakhstan, they are hanging the rockets out over a cliff. Oh my goodness. Larry says, I forgot. What is the name of the new Russian launch site that's actually in Russia? It's either Pleztek or Voshnachi. So, Fenmil says, I'm pretty sure someone private in China is working on a reusable first stage. So, yeah. Yeah. They're also working on just being able to land the first stages, which would be nice. And yes, I know Pamela knows a little Russian, but I do not. Yes, rock, paper, scissors, Spock. Lizard Spock. This shirt came from Pamela. The next flight will be another 5th flight. Oh, yes. Yes, Kerbal. So the next flight of this particular... Oh, you're just saying the next SpaceX flight in general will be a 5th flight of a booster. Okay, I got it. I'm tracking. I don't know if Crew Dragon will be able to do orbit keeping for the ISS. Again, it isn't currently flying, so I don't know a whole lot. I will also admit that I don't follow SpaceX as closely as some of you guys do, and yeah, you guys are the reason why I cover SpaceX things that aren't launches, like things imploding, because I know somebody will ask me about them, and I'll be like, I don't know. I have dogs stealing Cheerios out of my hand, and it is nice. So that's the end of the questions. So, yeah, I'm not going to torture you all with my Russian pronunciation. Kerbal says that as far as he knows, Crew Dragon will not do orbit raising. I think the thrusters on Crew Dragon are not going to be enough to do orbit raising. And by the fact that this last progress makes, or this last progress mission delivered fuel, literal fuel, to refuel the space station, I think it has some orbit raising capabilities of its own. So, and yeah, it probably is easier to use Soyuz. Soyuz is old. I shouldn't say it's old. Soyuz is well understood, well documented, I would hope at this point, technology that has proven itself to be reliable. So I have no problem with Soyuz continuing on. So, yeah, DPI says, I think Zvezda has rocket motors, but I'm not sure. AstroWise asks, what kind of fuel does the ISS use that was delivered? The article I read did not specify, it just said fuel. The article was also in Russian and translated, so I don't know. And I honestly did not poke any further at it because I honestly wasn't feeling up to it yesterday. Kerbal says, MMH NTO. See, I am so lucky to have you guys. You are all amazing. Because when I'm like, I don't know something, somebody else pops in with the answer, and I love that. Kerbal goes on to say, or some combination of a hydrogen and nitrogen oxide. So NTO or MNO, and yeah, I don't have my little chemical models handy to demonstrate what these things look like, but nitrogen oxides are extremely reactive, and depending on temperature, nitrogen tetroxide, which you will see abbreviated in chat as DNTO. So that's supposed to be dinitrogen tetroxide. But chemists leave off the di for the dinitrogen. Depending on the temperature, that can actually split into 2 molecules of NO2. So it literally depends on temperature for how these are, so which would make sense for the mixed oxides of nitrogen. The hydrazine is also super reactive, and things of that nature. These are not fuels you want to be near. They're stable in storage, they're great, but you don't want to be anywhere near. And DPI reminds me, can also be split into NO and NO3, and then hilarity ensues, which, okay. Yeah, I don't know what DNTO means for Canadians. Fenmill is guessing that it means do not touch Ontario, which I'm not even going to touch that one. No way. So does anybody else have any other questions that I may or may not be able to answer? It's okay if I don't know the answer. I am okay admitting that I don't know the answer. So this is pretty much, you know, ask any random or not. No, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say ask any random questions, because then I'll get random questions and I'm like, no. I don't even have a pen to write down the things. So I think chat is just devolving. Yes, ask any space-related questions. How many toilets are in space right now? 3. There are 3 toilets in space right now. There are 2 on the ISS and 1 on the Soyuz, and the one on the Soyuz does not get used, and the American has to use the American ISS toilet, and the Russians have to use the Russian ISS toilet, because yes, they will charge each other. Yes. There was a paper somewhere breaking down exactly how much it was, I think, to use the toilet. And it was absurd. And I think that was mostly for space tourists. Or maybe for some interagency things. And the ISS always has to have at least 1 American and at least 1 Russian on board at all times. So, somebody always has a bathroom to themselves. But they don't typically use the Soyuz toilet because, yeah. Is there a coin slot on the toilet? No. There are no coin slots on the toilet. The mock-up of the American ISS toilet on at Kennedy Space Center was covered in Russian because, yes, both toilets, all the toilets in space, are Russian design. They are. We bought a toilet from the Russians. It is our toilet, but it is of Russian design, and there has been a case where there was a part that broke that needed to come from Russia, and they sent it in a diplomatic pouch, which does not have to be inspected by customs, to be sent on a shuttle launch to the ISS to fix the toilet. Veronica asked, do the different nationalities share food on ISS? I've heard that they trade, but I'm not sure. I've heard that they trade. I know a problem is that menu fatigue and such, and they won't, I guess it's a challenge to get the astronauts to eat all the calories they need to do. And they do all eat dinner together. They really do. Broken Symmetry says, there's a neat outhouse patch for the American side toilet. There is. And one day I will own that patch. And maybe even a sticker. Fenmill says, any update on the US defunding the ISS? No, I know nothing. And yes, things do taste different in space. You're kind of congested because gravity isn't there to help, clear out some sinuses and things. And so you're kind of congested all the time. And spicy food, I guess, actually has flavor, but it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Yes, Canadians had maple cookies on the ISS. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They probably were popular. Maple cookies are fantastic. All right, why are you guys crying? You want Cheerios? Have a Cheerio. So, all right. But think of the crumbs. Yeah, the crumbs would be a problem. Some more bits. All right, doggos, you ready? There's Tinker. You gonna come a little closer on camera, Tinker? No, you were in the sweet spot, weren't you? Yeah, the Italians totally had robot coffee. Come on, Puck. Up. I know. The camera does weird things to your fur. Shove the whole cookie in, problem solved. All right. And more bits. Come here, Tink. Come on. She's right around the bottom of my green screen. And more bits from Fenmill. Puck is taking them oh so nicely. One more handful of bits. More bits from Veronica. Thank you. Oh yeah, there was totally a special cup for that machine. Maybe one day I will make a backup episode. Come on, Puck, up. Backup episode that just talks about food again. Like, I know we've done it, but oh my goodness, you guys are going to get my dogs fat. More bits from Ambius. Come on, up. Puck's like, yeah, I'll do this. Yeah? Come on, Tink. You want bits? Oh, okay. There's coffee in the dragon. All right. So, you all have made my dog very happy. And yeah, I think I have done an episode on space food, but there's never any harm in updating it. Because we've had cookies now, but the cookies didn't work out well. DPI is asking about the patch. Let me have mouse wake up. Come on. There was a Windows update that happened while my computer was down, and it messed with how Logitech products connect. So I have to connect my trackball through Bluetooth, and it loses connection often. Yes, that is the patch. That is totally the patch. I love it. It is amazing. That patch is amazing, and there totally is a sticker of it inside the toilet. That patch is amazing, and it is life. So everybody else wants all of these cool launch patches. No, this is the patch I want. This is the patch I want. So, I don't think there are really any other questions. And I have been live for about an hour. So I should probably go. The podcast should be up relatively quickly today. Thank you, Keeper, for recording the podcast. And I know next week we're going to talk about some CubeSats that were launched from the ISS. And maybe there will be launches. Maybe there won't be. So yeah. Yeah, but thank you everybody for tuning in. This has been fun, and I should see you all again on Sunday for Science Sunday, where maybe we'll do science. Maybe we'll do science. But yeah, as a reminder, this has been brought to you by, or has been a production of PSI, Planetary Science Institute, and brought to you by you. So stay safe, wash your hands, be kind, do good, and wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful insert time here, or insert time of day here, and I will see you all soon. Bye. And awkwardly roll the credits, because that's how we roll. That's how we roll.